Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. I know that everybody's waiting for this moment. I'm so excited to come here again at Empowering You TV. Bonsoir. And it depends on where you watching us from. Welcome, welcome. We're just gonna really go into our special guest today. I have this amazing young woman entrepreneur who it really, just by watching her, what she's doing, her passion, her commitment to what she's doing, she really inspired me so much. So I said, I think the community should be able to get to know her because she's doing amazing things. And welcome, Sandrine Basaula. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I was really looking forward for this amazing time because I know our community Empowering You TV need to get to know your story, how amazing you are. So
Mm,
we have our tradition when we ask questions to our guests. So our question to you is when it comes to the word abundance, what that comes in mind for you?
abundance.
Mhm.
Okay. I think the first thing that comes because I was recently reading a scripture about Jesus that came and he came to give us life in abundance. So for me, abundance seems like I think it talks about wholeness and completeness. So abundance means peace, it means health, it means joy, prosperity, success. So it just means the whole package. I think thriving and striving in what you do, being very prosperous and successful in every area of life. For me, that's what abundance says. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. What about the word building a community? Building community.
Okay, so I think of togetherness. I think of supporting each other in every person's dream or every person's purpose, being very supportive in the community. So, not judging, but helping people to find their God given purpose, their God given talents, and to actually cultivate that and to foster that so that the best people grow up in society and that we cause a community of people that know how to love, people that know how to treat people rightly, people that know how to just be the best version of themselves. Because usually it's a community that ends up building a society and a positive country. It all starts within a community to go global for actually see a global impact.
Awesome. And I think this word you're very familiar with that. It's teamwork.
Teamwork. Okay, for me, I think because I don't personally like teamwork, although I have to be a team player, I think it's really important to work as a team because you can't fulfill certain goals on your own. You need people around you that can help. But I think it's a bit hard for somebody who's a bit of a perfectionist and who loves having her hands on pretty much everything. So sometimes delegating or let's say working with people can be a bit difficult because I end up maybe doing most of the stuff by myself. But I've understood the importance of like partnerships and collaborations. So I think for me, teamwork is very important for each person to reach where they need to be. You still need people to work with in order to help you get there because no man arrives somewhere on their own.
Awesome. And I think this word too is very familiar to you, especially in your field, branding.
Branding. Okay, branding for me is, I think, I would say giving a certain image or portraying a certain what you want your name or what you're doing to stand for. So when you brand, let's say whatever industry that you're in, how you want people to see what you're doing. So how is it that you portray your brand out there to the public? What is it that you stand for, your values, your ethics? How is it that people can refer when they see that label or when they see that name? What is it that they think of? So that comes obviously with your whole marketing package. I think like your logo, your colors that you use, literally everything that comes as a package that people see that and they connect it with your brand.
Awesome. And the last word for you, it's emerging leader.
Emerging leader, I think of this generation. I think of many people that are rising to be leaders, that have the potential of being leaders. I think gone are the days where people are just following what other people are doing, but there are many people that are wanting to set different trends. So I think of people who have leadership qualities, who are learning more about leadership, who don't only want to take the back seat and like maybe work a 9 to 5, but actually want to take that forefront and become entrepreneurs or do something that is out of the norm. So yeah, that's what I think of in terms of leadership. And also I think leading other people also towards becoming the best version of themselves. I think that's a form of leadership as well. Not just that people may follow you, but that you can also impart some sort of knowledge to other people so that they can also rise to be who they were called to be.
Awesome. Thank you so much for for answering to those 5 words. Again, it's usually that's just 5 words that we usually ask our viewers. There's no right or
Yeah.
wrong answer. We just
Okay.
want to learn together with you, which you really educate us tonight. So thank you so much, Sandrine. So my first question is I'm very, I've been watching it definitely also I definitely empower you also by just seeing what you're doing and really to be able to, to stand in the front. To me, can you tell me what is your typical day, for something like, when your typical day, is that the same every day? Or, it's actually different because, you have so many, skills and talent and you have many hats as a businesswoman. So can you tell us about that journey every day?
Okay, so a day in my life is not very much of a routine. I try to keep it, I try to do things that are out of the box because I feel like if I stick to a routine, I get bored very quickly. So I want to always do something that's just a bit different in my day, although I do like to have a bit of structure because I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that creates some sort of discipline so that I can get what I need to do done. So I would wake up in the morning, meditate a little bit, pray, start my day off with some prayer and meditation. And then I used to work out also a little bit in the mornings, although I stopped for some time, but I'm planning on getting back to that. At least do like a 30 minutes to an hour workout. And then, yeah, I get started on my day. So, whatever tasks I have, maybe like checking emails, responding to emails, trying to find the next opportunities, being on social media a lot on the internet. So, I'm always researching, trying to connect with different people, speak with different people. Wherever I find an opportunity that comes up, I think I'm always there trying to. Yeah, trying to be in the midst of whatever's happening. So I always try not to be also too busy because I feel like that robs me of my time when I put too
Right.
many things on my schedule. So I try to just delegate to like a certain day what I can handle, but just always try to be as productive as possible so I don't waste time, but also don't act too busy that I end up not doing anything really.
Wow, that's very good to know that definitely, you are very creative. I should say that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
another question for you that we would like to know, or our viewers too would like to know more about, is like, who is Sandrine? Can you tell us more about your upgrowing, and especially, did you always knew that you're gonna, take this path of entrepreneurship, or how was the click? Like,
Mm.
first you tell us your journey, and then you tell us how did you, really came about to see that I think, I'm gonna take this journey of entrepreneurship.
Okay, so I grew up, I think, as a very disruptive child. I'd say I was very, like, just very bubbly. But after some time, I think when I got into like primary school and high school, I became extremely shy. So I always wanted to just like hide behind everything. I never saw myself like being out there on live videos or doing anything that was outside of the box. I always wanted to remain behind closed doors. Like I was always hiding behind social media. That became, I don't know what happened to me, but during that period, I was literally like the most shy person in high school. Like even making friends, I like had my group of friends and I just stuck to that. But I think as I got into university, there was just a very like different opinions, lots of people, different personalities, nobody really trying to like fit in, as opposed to high school people are still trying to find themselves. So I was kind of forced to discover who I was. And I think at the age of like at the in second year or third year, that's when I actually started discovering who I was and started deciding that, okay, I need to actually find what path is it for me. So I thought right after university, I would go and get a job, but somehow I never enjoyed a 9 to 5 job. Like I worked, I did what I could, but it never really like satisfied me. Like I would come back home exhausted. Sometimes I would work 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., sometimes even 7 p.m. So it was quite like draining for me, until one day I just decided in the morning, like, I'm quitting this job. And in 2020, I had the idea of starting like a fashion business. But I, first of all, was procrastinating. But at the same time, I think I was also scared to just take that leap of faith into entrepreneurship, because I'm like, many people already in this fashion industry, many people are like thriving in it. So what's going to really set me apart? But at the same time, I'm like, it's something that's really in my heart and it's something that I'm passionate about. So why not give it a try? And end of 2021, then I decided to launch the business. And yeah, here we are. I am taking it one step at a time and seeing where it will grow.
Oh, that's really boldness to me, because
Yeah,
again, many people, they stay where, actually where you were, because they just,
yeah.
it's still in the head, the business just still in the head, but they don't really
Mm-hmm.
take a leap of faith. And on top of that, people think about,
Mm-hmm.
oh, we are in a pandemic, so how can I, so
Exactly.
all of these excuses. But I'm glad
Right.
that
Yeah.
you definitely took a leap of faith. And that's why I really, took time to really watch. I was like, I need to really to pay attention to what you're doing, because it's amazing to be able to rise up
Yeah.
at such a time. To me, I was like, this is
Mm,
something that I need to be able to bring her on, so she can be able to share your journey, Sandrine. Another thing
yeah.
that which I've seen so many of the video and different things that people watching you, especially young women like yourself in your generation. What means to you to be a global influencer? If you can talk about that. Hello, Eddie. Thank you for joining us.
So for me, I think it's representing myself in a way that draws people to Christ. Like everything that I do, I always point back to Christ, because I feel like I mentioned before, in when we're growing up, everybody's trying to find who they are, and you just kind of missing that piece of identity. So for me, it took me some time as well. Like I was never confident in myself. Like I was still trying to discover who I was. But the moment that I actually discovered who I was, I'm like, it's actually a beautiful thing to discover your worth in Christ. So I want, or like one of my, let's say, passions is also to see other people, like young women who are maybe younger than me or the same age group, who could actually grow and discover who they are and see their worth in Christ, see what meaning they have for life. So that's one of the things that actually motivates me. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so good. So, because I know you have many hats, but not a lot of people knows that. So, if you can walk us through. So, besides actually in your journey into fashion,
Mm,
you also have other inspiration, other training that you have done in the past that really
yeah.
give you, like those skills to be able to use that
Yes.
in your entrepreneurship journey. So, can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so I worked, as I mentioned, the 9 to 5. So I did two jobs. I worked as a marketing consultant or sales agent. I was very involved as a salesperson specialist in an IT company, got lots of engagement with lots of different clients. And I think that really helped me in my professional experience, even though I didn't stay there for long, but it definitely helped me to start my own business and to know how I needed to maybe apply marketing strategies or to work with different people. So you really get a lot of skills in those fields or in those work environments that you could never learn by yourself. So as much as maybe I couldn't stay there for a long time, but I don't think I would have learned that on my own, like on YouTube videos or something. It really helped to be around people in that environment and to actually see what the working environment was like. Maybe sometimes it could be draining and a bit toxic sometimes, but at the same time, I learned to also manage my work with my personal life. So I worked as that, and I also worked in finance. We were doing training, so it was like trade finance. So I worked as well in sales. So most of my jobs have been sales, lots of interacting with people. And I feel like that actually helped me for like the path that I am going on, because I feel like I'm going to be very interactive with people. Had to build my communication skills as well. It was something that I was never confident about, public speaking, but being in that environment with working with people, learning how to speak over the phone and sell something to people and actually convince them. So it really helped me to build my character as well as build my confidence. Yeah.
That's awesome. That is so good. So I like us to go in a direction where I would like you to encourage somebody or some young women or some young men who also are thinking about going in entrepreneurship, but they haven't really decided yet, or they haven't really figured that out. So I would like you to
Mm,
to speak to those someone like that who can be able to take a leap of faith like you did, especially in a pandemic, but speak to their
mm,
mindset, because that's really the shift that you did
exactly.
was really because
Yeah.
you click, you said, oh, I think I can be able to do it. You did
Yeah.
scare, but you did it anyway. So I'd like you definitely to encourage somebody as well.
I think what you said is so important about like everything starts in the mind. Literally, there's that scripture that says you are what you think. Like whatever you think you are, you will be. So I think every person needs to decide, like in their mind, who is it that I want to be, and work towards that. So I just like to encourage somebody to not be fearful of what other people are doing. I think there's room for all of us in the market. There's room for everybody in the space. Whatever industry might look saturated, or it might look like too many people are doing that, or there's no way that I can thrive in that. I think it just takes you that moment, that instant where you decide that I don't want to live my life the way that I've been living, but I want to take this step of faith, and I actually want to do something different and set a trend that's maybe different, and live outside of the box. So I think that's what it took me, just changing my mindset, but also making steps, baby steps towards, once your mind has been changed, taking steps each and every single day to reaching your goals. So it actually starts becoming productive and doesn't just stay in the mind. So it actually changes from being in your mind to, let's say, paper. I think there's a scripture even that says you need to write the vision down. So you need to start writing it down and actually making steps, like how am I going to achieve this? So just making those daily steps as well to reach your goals and your targets.
Guys, I hope you're listening. We're taking some very good nugget from our guest today, Sandrine Basaula. So I really want you need to write that down, not just in your head, because if you
Yeah,
just stay in your head, you're gonna forget and you won't be accountable
exactly.
to yourself. So we want you to
Yeah.
do that. If you're listening, please take note, because she's really into her journey and I'm so excited about that. Another question for you, Sandrine, is I know every day it's not the same. And also we have season as an entrepreneur, as you know, that sometimes
Mhm,
we are really in our high peak season. Sometimes it's
mhm,
kind of down, sometimes we kind of feel like we stuck. What do you do to
mhm,
stay creative? What do you do to stay consistent
mhm.
in your creativity? Yeah, if you can tell us more
Yeah.
about that.
Okay, I love that you actually brought that up because when I started, I was so motivated, and I'm like, once I put all these things out there, I'm gonna get like
Mm-hmm.
a flood of clients that are just coming through. And at the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, I was like, okay, this is kind of going a bit slower than I thought. Like, am I
Yes.
actually on the right path? And then I think I just had to tell myself, like, you can't expect something. I think it took me a bit of patience. So I had to be like, this could be something that you're sowing into the ground, but it still takes some time for you to reap the harvest. And slowly but surely, I actually started seeing like, okay, there was one client. I think it just starts with that, like one client, then that client tells a different client, and then someone shares your post somewhere, then somebody else contacts you. So it's like a whole cycle that starts happening. But if I had given up like right at the beginning when I saw that, okay, I wasn't getting any clients, and then I'm like, okay, so I think social media puts a bit of pressure on us as well, where everybody tries to look successful, and not everybody really is thriving. So they put their best self out there. But it takes, let's say, a real entrepreneur to actually share that, okay, you are going to have some moments where you're not doing excellently well, but in those moments, you still need to keep your vision in mind. So if you had that vision and you remember that this is where I'm going, this is what I am working towards, I can't just give up at the beginning because it doesn't look great, or maybe through during the season when I'm not getting as much as I may have wanted, then I just give up. So I think it's just having that resilience and that commitment, even when things are not working out. You just have to have that never give up spirit.
Absolutely, guys, never give up that spirit. And that's what you need every day. And I
Yeah,
really agree with you on that one because sometimes it's not so much about, sometimes it's not just the client. Sometimes even yourself, you just going through some, you don't feel like it.
yeah.
But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? You need to keep showing up. And that's something I
Yeah,
had to, even for myself, I had to, sometimes I'm so tired. But I told my, I
exactly.
just think about why did I start this in the first place? That means
Mm,
somebody's waiting to hear a solution because this platform,
mm,
the reason why we have Empowering You TV, because we're bringing people strategy and tools for folks to be
mm-hmm.
able to, to go for it, to keep going as an entrepreneur. So that's why sometimes I have to even to remind myself because,
Yeah.
the clients can be there, but sometimes you're just exhausted or you're going through
Mm,
something, and that's normal, but just keep showing up. And
keep
that's
building.
leadership to
Yeah.
me. Just keep showing up, serving, because to me, leadership
Mm-hmm.
is really about serving. And I know you share the same thing too. So it's really,
Mm,
I'm glad that you mentioned that. My
yeah.
other
Yeah.
question to you was, on your journey, in entrepreneurship, or just as a young woman, as an emerging leader, who inspire you? Like, do you read, like, it's just something that you usually do, or do you watch some other people? That how do you get inspired, or you stay inspired?
Mm. Okay, I used to read a lot, but I don't know what happened. So I'm more of like a visual person now. So I love watching lots of sermons,
Yes.
listening to lots of podcasts. So anything that's like, yeah, I think reading sometimes, I don't know, I end up falling asleep sometimes. So I can't keep my eyes open for too long. But I think I listen a lot to like TD Jakes. It's more of, let's say, spiritual, but still mentor kind of
Yes.
people that are in the, yeah, they balance a little. I listen to Sarah Jakes also, listen to, yeah, Stephen Furtick. So most of the things people that I might name actually are probably like preachers, which I feel like I get lots of inspiration from them. Lots of meditating also on the word. Yeah, it's pretty much that, to be honest. But also, like, yeah, people like you, my mother
Oh,
as well, people of faith. Yes. I've got a
oh,
circle, like a of
thank
women that
you.
I really look up to. So you,
Mhm.
I think that the community of women around me
Yes.
also really helped me to stay inspired and to keep pushing and thriving towards my goals.
Thank you. I'm very honored, definitely. Yes. And that's very important because you also have to take care of yourself mentally, spiritually,
Yeah,
emotionally. So be able
yeah,
to feed yourself because as an, like I said, entrepreneur, it's not an easy thing. to be an entrepreneur. So you constantly need to be creative and really feeding your mind with
Yeah.
positivity, with hope and courage, even though, sometimes you might go through something, but you just have to keep going and really
Yeah.
educate yourself, but also inspire yourself, because sometimes, you don't have nobody to inspire you, but yourself also, you need to encourage yourself. And
Yeah. Yeah.
another question that I was really trying to in especially because you have so many hats in fashion, in financing, and entrepreneurs. How do you uh continue, to really manage your time, and also to be able to say, well, maybe this time I will my passion is fashion, but I'm gonna
Mm.
also continue to work with client. Do you also work with client from like IT community, or like financing community, or you just right now focusing on fashion?
So right now I am just focusing, I'm trying to balance the two because um the company that we started in terms of finance, we're doing like a
Mhm.
marketing agency, trade
Yeah.
finance, business development consultancy that we started with my dad.
Hmm.
And I think we definitely, that's not something that we can just throw under the bus because that's his legacy and it's something that he gave us
Hmm.
the vision also for. And we are still running with it because we believe in the vision of the business. So it's not something that we've completely put like under the rug, but obviously it takes a bit of like shifting because he was the visionary. So although he transferred that knowledge onto us, we still have to try adjust how are we going to proceed with this. So we've got clients in terms of that. I think
Hmm.
our biggest clients right now is Axis Bank that we're working with to try and bridge the gap with the just money transfer and how it is in, like, especially in Africa, it's quite difficult where people are always sending money back home. So that's one of the areas where we're working right now with trade finance, trying to help people just have better solutions for money transfer and just to make it a bit more effective and efficient. But at the same time, right now, I think my focus is mostly on the fashion since it just started. I took quite of a break after the passing of
Yeah.
Papa, but
Mhm.
I had to kind of focus everything back again there because I literally just launched the business, so I didn't want to lose that exposure that I got like in the first couple of, let's say, weeks. So I
Mhm.
had to put back my efforts in there. So right now it's mostly the business, but I think it just takes balance as well. Like there's not too many things that you can have your hands on, but at the same time,
Right.
obviously not have your hands on everything, but just try and find balance. So you have to have that work-life balance, be able to balance your entrepreneurship journey. If you're still working a 9 to 5 and doing entrepreneur
Mhm.
activities, you just have to learn how to balance, manage your time effectively.
Absolutely. And I like that you already, really recognize that that's something that you have to really, balance your time and
Yeah,
have a balance, because some people, they give more toward the passion, and you forget to
yeah,
do this and that.
you
But I'm glad
forget.
that,
Yeah.
you're really building up that balance. Now,
Mhm.
talking about in the fashion industry, what type of solution that, people will be hoping to see in your future, in your journey as a businesswoman, and how people can be able to reach you?
Sorry, can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. So the question is, how people, what type of solution that people can be able to hope to see, in the future, as you continue your journey as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
That, so what type of solution that you can be able to bring on the table, and also how
Mm.
people can continue to support you, and also uh, how they can be able to be in contact with you.
Okay, so what I think the fashion industry is very broad and it's very difficult sometimes to come into it and make a change to it. Sometimes some things are like set in stone in fashion, or either people just do what they want. And I think there's like many of these like high fashion brands that people just buy things because maybe of the name. But I think the shift that I'm trying to bring, or let's say the solution, is just to get people beyond the fashion or beyond the brand, just to live a lifestyle or to cultivate that lifestyle of knowing themselves. So beyond, let's say, the clothes, I also want to portray a lifestyle, like try and ooze that identity through the fashion in some way to make a positive impact, that people don't only see the clothes but maybe see like the more behind the actual brand. So that's why I don't just do the clothing, or I don't just display the clothing, but as I was speaking to you, I think earlier, about creating blogs as well. So I want to somehow allow people to maybe see, to read more about certain things, or even in the names that I give some of the pieces, I always have like symbolic names that maybe just have some sort of significance over the item. So beyond the actual clothing, I think I wanted to have more of a positive impact. And where people can reach me, they can reach me on Instagram, Kingdom Couture, and on Facebook as well, Kingdom Couture. And we also have a website, kingdomcouture.com.
Oh, awesome. Now, before we go, can you tell us just a little about how you came up with that name, Kingdom Couture? I love it. I love it.
Thank you. So it's a play on words. It's with the kingdom. So that's kingdom as just a normal kingdom,
Yeah.
kingdom of God. And then I played on the words with king and dame. So a dame is usually a very refined lady who's very
Yes.
classy, elegant. So I think I didn't want it to limit myself only to women, but that's why I had the king as well. So I will at some point maybe reach out and start doing some clothing for men. But right now I started because that's what I am more accustomed to. So I'm doing more of the ladies stuff, but it will definitely cater to men as well. So yeah, it's just a play on words with being a kingdom citizen as well as king and lady. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I love it, love it. See, guys, I told you, you definitely, I'm glad. I'm glad that you definitely, grace us with your presence tonight to be able to answer
Thank
some of the
you.
questions. And guys, Sandrine, she's gonna start coming up because she's definitely, we're gonna be doing some stuff together with her. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited for 2022. She's gonna be, definitely doing some workshop together. She's gonna be part of the
Mm,
magazine coming up. There's a lot of most things like so stay tuned because she's definitely only here the first time, but not the last time because she's definitely
yes, definitely.
part of the team, and I can't wait to see what she's gonna be bringing us, and then to be able to be leading because she's an emerging leader and she's unstoppable. So thank you again,
Oh,
Sandrine.
thank you so much for having me, and God bless your platform. I'm definitely looking to be on here more often.
Absolutely. So thank you guys for watching us. Merci encore de se connecter aujourd'hui parce qu'aujourd'hui, on est avec Sandrine Basaula. On a juste commencé parce qu'elle sera là presque chaque mois parce que c'est une dame qui est vraiment en train elle est vraiment en train d'inspirer sa génération et aussi toutes les femmes, même les hommes, que ce soit dans le fashion, que ce soit dans le finance. Donc, en tout cas, restez connectés parce qu'il y a beaucoup, beaucoup de belles choses qui arrivent bientôt. OK? So see you guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.